Good morning. I'd like to do a quick introduction into RC planes and the components that come with it. It's a very basic introduction, but when I was starting out I had some difficulty working out how everything went, so I thought it would be nice to do a quick introduction video. When you get a plane, or the components that make up an aircraft is going to be your motor, your receiver, which is this little guy here, an electronic speed controller, which is this boy here, a LiPo battery, which is that boy, and you'll have servos. Generally they're installed into the aircraft for your rudder and elevator or ailerons, and they can come in all different shapes and sizes. Basically we'll start with the speed controller. This little boy has 3 wires coming out this side, and it's for a brushless motor. And it has 2 wires coming out this side, and that connects to your battery, and your cable that connects to your, that's your throttle control cable, and it also supplies the power to your receiver so everything works. So what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and plug this into my motor. If you have a look at the motor, it's got 3 cables coming off it. On this particular motor, there are 3 different colours. It doesn't matter which one plugs in, so far as it's not going to cause any damage to the motor, but what it does do is it will spin either clockwise or anti-clockwise depending on which cables are plugged in. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug them in. Now if you plug in your speed controller and you turn it on and it's spinning the wrong way, all you do is just swap over 2 of your wires. It doesn't really matter which one, and it will spin clockwise as opposed to anti-clockwise. So we've got that one plugged in. I'm going to go ahead and plug this into my battery. Okay. And now your throttle cable. On your receiver, you've got a whole heap of different plugs here. On the spectrum range, they're actually nicely labelled for you. The throttle cable actually just plugs straight into where it says throttle there, and the cable has 3 different coloured wires on it. One is going to be dark or black, and the other end is light or white in colour. Generally speaking, the light colour always faces towards the back of or the main body of your receiver. I'm going to go ahead and just plug that straight into the throttle body. And you'll notice that as soon as I plug that in, it all lit up. What that means is the power has been supplied from the battery through the speed controller and back to your receiver. You don't actually need a separate loop or a separate battery to power up this guy. It all happens through your throttle cable. I'm going to go ahead and plug in the servos now. Plug this one into the rudder. I'm going to plug this one here into my ailerons. Actually, we'll plug it into elevator. Okay, now what happens now is if I put an input into my rudder, servo's moving nicely. If I move my elevator, the other servo is moving nicely there. We'll just check everything's hooked up nicely with the motor, so I'm just going to run that up. Alright, we've got nothing coming through here, so unplug and plug these guys back in. Actually, alright, you hear that little chirp? It's all counting off now, and it's happy because it's connected to the receiver. So that's all that was wrong there. I'll run it up. Happy days. And now everything's working exactly how it should. I'm going to do one other little thing, is introduce a gyroscope. I'm just going to grab this little boy here. The gyroscope I find is quite handy, and used it in my super cover a little bit. And I hook it up to the rudder. How that works is I just unplug the rudder servo from the receiver. You plug the gyroscope in between. Again, there's going to be a right and a wrong way to plug it in. So your light or dark wires, you can't damage it by plugging it the wrong way. It just won't work. So I'm just going to plug this back in here. Okay, so now what we have, Just wait for that to initialise. The light goes green when everything's fine. We have a rudder that's working normally. However, when the gyroscope senses any change, see how it's putting an input? That's happening independently of your transmitter. You putting an input into your transmitter always overrides it, but it's useful for when the wind picks the plane up and starts throwing it around. This little gyroscope will quickly correct that, and you'll have much more fun flying your plane even if it's in the heavy wind. I hope you like the simple introduction to plugging in your RC components, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much.